Hey, little unplanned video. I just wanted to talk about some stuff that I learned recently. And this is stuff that I kind of already thought was true, but now I know it's true. And it's something about sales in general, or about, making a product also. And also a bit about, how would you say, about game development and selling games. So the thing that I have learned over the past few weeks, which those past few weeks were really interesting. For those who don't know, in the past few weeks, I first gave my game to playtesters, and I got some feedback, and I also messaged a lot of people to get new playtesters. And today I want to talk a little bit about the stuff that I learned from that. So what can I say? I think the first thing that this really kind of showed me is that reaching out to strangers on the internet and trying to sell them something, as long as it is something that they're actually interested in, is actually not that hard. So I've heard a lot of horror stories about how you need to send like a million messages in order to get one reply. I think this is probably very true in a lot of spaces, especially if you're initially already charging money for something, right? If you don't try to get your first customers by offering something for free, which I'm reading $100 Million Leads by Alex Hormozi right now, and he recommends it, which I personally find very reasonable to do, and that's what I'm doing. And actually, it's like, if you're making something, this is something that I already believed in, but now this like reality, I was thinking maybe reality is just gonna bitch slap me and show me that I'm wrong, but actually reality so far has kind of proved me right. If you have something that people want, it is very fucking easy to get them. It's not like you build it and they will come. No, you build it and you tell them. You don't really need to sell. Like, all you need to do in terms of salesmanship is like get them to read your message and click on your, I don't know, little video explaining what you have to sell them. I mean, again, I was I'm letting people play test the game for free. Okay, so yes, I'm not charging money yet for the game, because obviously it's a very unpolished game. And if I can get feedback, and if I can get maybe some people to champion the game and refer their friends, that is way more valuable than if I get, like, let's say, even if I got all of them to pay me, that is still much less valuable than the feedback and stuff. And yeah, I mean, again, if you just have something that people actually want, and you know where the people who want that thing are, and you just message them, it's fucking easy. I actually, I don't know the exact math, but I think I have like a 30% or something conversion rate so far. I mean, again, not for them paying. That would be lower, of course. But for people actually like joining our community and like wanting to play test the game, and yeah, I mean, I'm not an experienced salesman by any means. So I think that's pretty crazy. Now, yeah, actually, I'm feeling very happy. This entire thing now, since there are some people who actually like really want to play the game, not just like, I don't know, like my girlfriend who I'm forcing to playtest the game to find out what things annoy her or something like that. There are people who actually really want to play the game. Like, yeah, that makes it feel so much more real, and it's so much more motivating. And I don't know, like it. I mean, I generally, except for like one small period, have never really struggled to believe that I'm gonna like be successful at some point. Because my childhood just kind of was. I don't want to go into too much of a rant, but whether you can do epic shit or not is largely dependent on your childhood and how much attention you got from your parents and stuff like that, uh, and how competent you were at different things compared to your peers, I think also. But anyways, I didn't. It's not like I'm someone who generally struggles with this kind of stuff, but now I really believe, like, yeah, it is totally doable. Like, starting something is. I mean, admittedly, I've grinded for like 4 months, pretty hard for this, but I mean, 4 months is nothing. And I want to do this for the next 10 plus years, so yeah. This is just really awesome. So, thing number one that I learned is when you make something that people actually want, it is very, very easy to sell them. In fact, you don't even really need to sell them. You just, like, the sales process at that point basically is like, well, not really a sales process, but like the process of getting them to try out your product is as simple as, hey, I got this thing, do you want that thing? And they're like, yes. Yeah. So that's lesson number one. Another lesson, this is more game dev specific, is you can use assets, okay? So I thought that people would roast my game a lot. Actually, it's not just about assets, but assets are one part. So I thought that if your game is not very polished, people generally are just not gonna want to play it. And that's wrong. So as long as you're not marketing your game as like a AAA production and you say that everything about your game is already completely amazing and everything, like as long as you basically give the disclaimer, yo, this is an indie game, I'm one programmer, I've been working this game for a couple months, don't expect it to be perfect. As long as you give the disclaimer, people are very forgiving. Which is cool, which is really cool. And to get back to the assets thing, believe it or not, people have actually so far almost only complimented me on the assets. The only on the visuals of the game, I mean. Everyone who has said that they didn't really like it were other game developers who were like, "Oh yeah, you're using assets. You didn't make this yourself. It's not like," and that's okay, yeah, because I'm not a great artist, and even if I was, I think my time is better spent programming and finding playtesters and showing them the game and seeing if they like it and if they have some feedback and stuff. Yeah. But you can use assets. Most players, this is something that I already believed before, but now it's really just nice to get this kind of affirmation by reality. People don't give a shit. Most playtesters, they probably don't know, or most normal players, they don't know what assets are. Okay? And I think this is a bit like when you go lift weights to get girls or to just impress more guys. Like, most girls probably, from what I've heard and from my experiences, which are not that much, because I'm not a fucking degenerate, okay? And also I just mostly stay inside and program, so, But it's by choice. Anyways, so in that case, you wouldn't want to get as muscular as possible, you would just want to have a decent amount of muscle, so more than I have, yes. But you probably just want to, like, not be very skinny, and then just be ripped and have a six-pack and everything, right? And if you want to, like, and if you're, like, bulking up for, like, years and years and you're trying to get super massive, you're just gonna get a lot of guys. And I think the reason I'm using this example is because I think everybody understands this, and even the guys who do this, they know this. They're like, yeah, I know. Yes. So what? Which I respect. But I think with game development, a lot of the time, when you're social circles as a game developers, you really do a lot of shit just to impress other game developers, and you don't really think about the players that much. And the players are the people who matter. Now, of course, I'm not saying don't hang out with other game developers. You can learn from them as well, but I mean, again, game devs will roast you for using a lot of assets, right? Like for going on Fab or something and downloading assets, even if they are good and even if they fit style and everything. Players do not give a shit. Okay. Now, of course, if we had self-made all of the stuff, like if I had a 3D artist who made all of the stuff from scratch and it was really unique, really amazing, the same quality as the stuff that I got, but just unique. Yeah, that would probably get better feedback. But I don't have the resource for that, unfortunately. So if you're a 3D artist who's, you know, interested in doing something, you split off the revenue, then hit me up. But yeah, so far, not really something that I was able to do, or that I should have done. And that's okay. By the way, that's not really something that I got wrong. I never really used to believe that that's such a horrible thing to use assets. But I know a lot of people who do. And yeah, this is. I mean, honestly, this video is kind of just me knowing, like, yeah, I was right about this, I was right about that. Actually, there's one thing that I was wrong about, which is that I used to think that it was a lot harder to message people and get them to try out your stuff. It turns out, if you're making a game that is similar to another game, like Paladins, for example, that's the case with my game, and you reach out to a lot of Paladins players who are dissatisfied with Paladins, and your game is similar to Paladins, but it has a unique twist to it. And if that twist is something that people like, if it's something that's not completely random, so it's not like I am making, I don't know, single player Call of Duty, but you play as, I don't know, as a cucumber. Little Rick and Morty reference. If it's not some bullshit like that, but actually something cool, like Paladins, like my game is similar to Paladins, but it is a single player. Paladins doesn't have single player. Paladins has a bit of a PvE mode, but it's shit. And Overwatch PvE, from what I've heard, I never played it, I'm not an Overwatch player, but from what I've heard, it's nah. So that's something that could be big. And the people so far that I've showed this to were really enthusiastic. Actually, people who aren't into Overwatch and Paladins that much, their reaction was like, "Oh yeah, that looks cool, looks cool." But I showed it to some people who were like really into Paladins, but who also like single player games, and those people were like, "Yo, that's sick. I need to play that." And that is something that I personally wasn't so sure of. Like I knew that was an essential part of getting people, but I didn't know how fucking easy it was. Yeah. So basically, I didn't understand how right I was, and no, I wasn't right. So I thought it was like 6 out of 10 easy, and most people were like, no, it's like only 2 out of 10 easy, so it's 8 out of 10 hard. Turns out it's not 6 out of 10 easy, it's 8 out of 10 easy. Yeah, so it's just some stuff that I learned. Maybe it's valuable for someone. Yeah. One step closer to being a king.